Often then we need certain types of props and experiences to reconnect us with our bodies, with our experiences, and with our histories, to bring from the unconscious into consciousness our history which has been suppressed by our experience as people. The kinds then, the things that, the kind of props, and by that I don't mean disrespect, but the kinds of objects and rituals that Elmina and other things represent is very important in catalyzing or stimulating the movement of repressed materials into consciousness. This is one of the reasons why then you see an overwhelming emotional reaction that takes place under those circumstances. I have often said that to be oppressed is to be ruled by emotions. You see, the reason why often many of us behave in terms of feeling and not merely in terms of logic is because when you're oppressed in terms of feeling. You're oppressed in terms of fear, in terms of anxiety, in terms of seeking to avoid pain and hurt, you see. And therefore, the avoidance of pain and hurt and displeasure becomes the chief motivational factors in your life. And consequently, feeling becomes the most important things in determining the way we behave, you see. We repress then those feelings which would motivate us to act in terms of our own interests. Because to be oppressed is to act against one's interest. You cannot be oppressed and act in terms of your own best interests, because the whole essence of oppression is to act in the interest of your oppressor. Therefore, those things which were motivating you prior to your oppression must be repressed, must be suppressed, must even be seen as alien, must be seen as an enemy to your existence. What happens then when one revisits historical sites, practices historical rituals, reconnects with the historical soil, is that the repressed memories and feelings are empowered, and they overcome the repressed mechanisms. They make a lie all of those things that we had before held as truth, and we become transformed, and we become at one again with ourselves. And that oneness with the self is extremely liberating and freeing and empowering and cleansing and healing. It releases the mind, it releases the intellect, and it releases us again to be free and to relate differently to ourselves and to the world. So it is very important, if we as people are to break the mental shackles that bind us today, that we ritualistically and otherwise reconnect ourselves to our history, for we ultimately are our history. And if we are to change our future, we must change our history, and we must use our history, because the future is but history renewed. And if we are to renew our history under our guidance, we must reconnect with that history. And we must use then those instruments that have been important in our transformation to be subordinated to others as means now to break that subordination and regain control of ourselves and our destiny again.